Welcome to episode number 163 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, and communications professionals. We're recording live on YouTube on October 27, 2016. Lots of things to talk about this week, as usual. Miss Iceland quits. Justin Timberlake busted for voting. Withering on the Vine. Does Facebook hate cats? NASA Live, recorded. Zombie Internet of Things, rapping for Hillary, self-driving beer, personal drones, and much, much more. BL, kick it off with the worst story of the week. What was it?
Well, I'm pretty angry that Miss Iceland, who happens to be gorgeous, was told that she was too fat. And so she quit the beauty pageant. She said, well, screw you, basically. And it became a Twitter moment. I can't pronounce her name. It's Ama Irjandistir. And it was the Miss Grand International contest. They told her she should lose some weight. So she put up a letter on Instagram. She said, if the owner of the contest really wants me to lose weight and doesn't like me the way I am, then he doesn't deserve to have me in the top 10. And so, yeah, my shoulders are a bit broader than the other girls, but that's because I'm a member of the Icelandic national athletics team, and I'm proud of that. And she posted that photo, and then she said, I only hope the organization opens their eyes because this is 2016. And in my country, my body shape is perfect. And that's what I'm going to remember. Nobody's ever going to tell me anything else. Yay! Good for her. No body shaming. What crap. And wait, there's pictures of her on Twitter in a bikini. This girl is gorgeous. She's perfect. And no, it wasn't Donald Trump's pageant.
It wasn't his pageant. I kind of, before we started, I kind of made the point that, well, I mean, you kind of expect beauty pageants to only have thin people. That's kind of the way they are. I think personally, beauty pageants are ridiculous.
Totally.
I don't pay attention to them. I could do without them. Who cares? But yeah, and I haven't seen this woman either, so I can't.
She's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Sure,
I mean, you know, she's in a bikini and she's like phenomenal. Yep. Anyway, what do you have?
Well, Justin Timberlake. Of course, we're going to talk about Justin Timberlake because we always do. Never,
we do?
But we do this week. Washington Post article by Abby Olheiser reports that Justin Timberlake flew from Los Angeles to Memphis, his hometown, this week so he could vote early in the 2016 election. So why is that news? Because Justin Timberlake posed in the voting booth with a selfie for a selfie with his ballot.
That's illegal?
Which turns out is illegal in Tennessee. His electronic ballot was visible in the background. He was trying to encourage people to vote. He has a zillion followers, as you might imagine, on Instagram. So he was trying to encourage people to vote and vote early. But it's illegal to take photos or videos in a polling place in Tennessee. He since deleted the illegal post, and he won't get busted for it. Because who wants to be the guy who busted Justin Timberlake or arrested Justin Timberlake for voting? The Associated Press did a review of state laws and found that it's illegal to take a photo in a polling station in 18 states. It's illegal to take voting selfies.
Well, you can kind of see why.
But their ballot selfies are legal in 19 other states, as well as the District of Columbia. Yeah, I guess there's the sanctity of the polling booth. But you know what? I'm going to take a selfie of myself voting because Russia. So I want to make sure that my vote is recorded at very least. In Minnesota, I'm fine. It's legal in Minnesota. New York. I already checked for you.
Oh,
Don't do it.
It's
illegal in New York. Yep.
Jeez.
Yep.
Well, speaking of weird arrests, this week, a guy got arrested for wearing a tree costume in Portland, Maine. Now, imagine being the officer who did that arrest. He was just walking around like nobody knows if he was an art installation or what he was, but he was he was literally wearing a tree, and the officer picked up some of the leaves and said, look, like if you get off the road, you're cool. And the guy, just kept walking in the road, so they arrested him. So wouldn't you like to write that in your arrest record book?
I arrested an ent.
So this week on Facebook, some space clips were passed off as live, but there were actually millions of people viewed them, and they were actually from 2014. Unilad, which is the most popular viral video channel apparently, and Viral USA tricked viewers launching these live streams that they said they were live streams from space earlier this week, and the Unilad one had 19 million views, and the one that they broadcast was actually, if you look closely, two Russian cosmonauts carrying the Olympic torch to the 2014 Winter Games. And the one from Viral USA, which has now had some 28 million views, was shared with the text, "View from space, follow us, Viral USA." And the footage seems to have come from a 2015 spacewalk. So why were they doing that? We don't know. Because they could.
Because Facebook Live videos get more, algorithmically, they get more views because Facebook favors them. How they did that, though, is an interesting, I wonder how they did that.
I don't know how they did that.
So that's fascinating.
Speaking of Facebook, Facebook apparently hates cats because Mashable reported, Manish Singh reported on Mashable that in India, a Chennai, India-based technology blogger named Varun Krishnan was locked out of his account after he shared a photo of what looks like a cat, an innocent cat. And it basically, the cat was wearing a suit, but there are dogs that wear suits, and the people who post those make millions of dollars. So he said, before I realized my devices were getting logged off and disabled, and so his photos, his Facebook account, his ads account, wiped off before in a matter of seconds. And Facebook didn't give him any explanation how that violated terms of service, and some other people put it up and they were also banned. And there's really nothing wrong with it. And so they Mashable tried to test and they didn't get banned, and then Facebook reinstated it. They didn't explain why. They apologized for the incident, but they didn't say what made it block the account. And the thing is, like, we've talked about how they have algorithm problems with news. Well, they clearly have them with videos and photos as well. And, there needs to be a lot of more human intervention on Facebook. So last month, 100 of Facebook's biggest viral meme pages boycotted the website in hopes of exposing what their algorithm was like and making the making the reporting and deletion process on the world's largest network more transparent. Because they do that. All of a sudden people are banned and they're not told why, and sometimes they just come back and they don't know why. But then again, that happens on YouTube also.
Well, easier said than done, but maybe they should get better programmers to make the algorithms better.
Well, I don't know. Facebook doesn't have great programmers. Who does,
Just a thought. Twitter. Twitter has let Vine wither away. This is from Quartz article by Dave Gershgorn. It's in a Medium post today. Vine announced that it is shuttering down the mobile app for Vine. They'll continue to have a website, so those Vines will apparently still live on the web, so you'll still be able to watch them. But apparently the app wasn't profitable up until at least the fourth quarter of 2015. So Vine was acquired kind of to add videos to the Twitter mix. It sort of got trampled on with Instagram adding short form video shortly thereafter. They kept, but I think the problem was they kept it as a standalone app and they didn't integrate it directly into Twitter. And so there's a lot of creative stuff on Vine. You actually included a link to my Minnesota Vikings Vine account, so I'll include that. A very cute Vine they've got on there. We'll include that in the post. But yeah, Vine's going away. So there you go.
Well, the Vikings are going to stick around, so you don't have to worry. Right. They're going to keep on Vine. So does that bring us to good news?
No, one last bad news, and I think this is the worst story that happened last week. The Internet of Things attacks. This is from a Washington Post article by Andrea Peterson. So last Friday, you probably experienced
I sure did.
Going down, as did a zillion other people. I was trying to update our blog post for the for the episode we did last Thursday and couldn't do it because I wanted to include a lot of tweets that we mentioned in the blog
Twitter was
post, and Twitter
down.
was down for the count. I couldn't get there at all. So last Friday, the internet experienced a widespread outages due to a distributed denial of service attack, and this happens when hackers take control of online devices and use them as zombie machines, basically, to send out massive volumes of traffic to specific websites with the attempt to overwhelm that website's servers. It literally denies service, thus the name, distributed denial of service attack. Usually when this happens, the hackers take over individual computers like your laptop and get you to surreptitiously download the software that gives them control, and then they take control of the machine and send website visits to the site they want to take down. But this time it wasn't laptops, but Internet of Things devices like these unsecured webcams that we've talked about in past episodes, or Nest devices or whatever, smart home devices that don't have any security on it. And now, we've warned about these security dangers, and now we've got proof. Last Friday was proof. But this time the attackers didn't take down individual websites. They attacked DIN, which is a major domain name service provider, basically the thing that ties your domain name to your website. So BeyondSocialMediaShow.com points to our website. That's what these domain name system providers provide, the service they provide. But by attacking DIN, they were able to attack all the major sites that use DIN as a service, including Twitter, including Netflix, including Amazon and GoDaddy. So, I mean, very smart hack if you want to give them credit for it. But these are major problems. Internet has to be a critical national infrastructure, because it is.
Well, I also think that the routers that we use with our computers are part of this issue. And also, like, I have a wireless printer. I think, and that's always online. I think that should be shut off at night. I mean, that sort of thing is
and it's
so
on
endemic.
Right. It's on us as users of these devices, too, to know how to secure them, too, because some of them don't have security at all. But a lot of them have security that you have to enable as a user. So you need to add your password, username and password, at least give them, some level of obstacle to get beyond it. So
I have crazy long passwords. I mean,
yeah, so do I.
And I can't remember any of them. Right? But that brings us to better news.
There we go.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, well, finally, some good news about the election. I thought I'd never see it. Lin-Manuel Miranda and Renee Elise Goldsberry rapped about Hillary Clinton. And, if there's the Hamilton stars, and if there's anybody who likes Hamilton more than millennials and Gen Xers, I don't know who they would be. And this was completely aimed at them because they are obsessed, absolutely obsessed with Hamilton and the lyrics. So what they did was they rewrote one of the songs so that it would be about electing Hillary and needing to vote. And it's wonderful. It's spectacular. And we'll have it on the blog. It's just great. And, it was very nice to see good news.
Well, that's clever. I always like to see musicians getting in the act beyond just spouting their opinion, actually creating creative works to advocate for something. So this has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with beer and self-driving cars. Two great things, right? Why not have them great together? So this is from an American Trucker article, which reports that autonomous vehicle development firm Otto and beer maker Anheuser-Busch recently completed what they claim is the world's first commercial shipment via self-driving truck. They've transported a fully loaded trailer of Budweiser beer. I would choose a different brand, but there you go. More than 120 miles along Colorado Highway I-25 from Fort Collins through Denver to Colorado Springs. A human truck driver remained aboard the vehicle for the entirety of the route. I monitored the delivery from the sleeper berth. The truck completed a 120-mile route exit to exit entirely on its own without any driver intervention. The article points out that reducing a number of fatalities on U.S. roads self-driving vehicles can help do that. 94% of accidents are caused by human error. Self-driving cars obviously enable fuel-efficient driving because we are not very capable of driving at the same speed all the time as humans, but self-driving cars are, and that would reduce emissions from trucks. 28% of all road vehicle carbon dioxide emissions come from freight trucks. So it was a fascinating article because when I read it, I thought of in August, Uber recruited Target CMO Jeff Jones to be their president. And a lot of people are like, what's a Target CMO going over to Uber for? And I immediately thought, well, Uber wants to get in the self-driving vehicle business. They probably want to do it as for semis for the retail industry. Thus, a Target executive going over to Uber. So interesting developments.
It is interesting, but the idea of it scares the hell out of me because what happens when some idiot cuts off the truck, or what happens when a deer runs in front of the truck, or I mean, there are just so many variables.
I think it's much more, the algorithms would be much more capable than human drivers because, oh my God, there are a lot of really, really bad drivers out there.
Are there ever? And at least a robotic truck won't be texting or putting on makeup,
Yep.
or whatever the hell they're doing in there. So this is just sort of an interesting thing. Squarespace, which lets you create websites from very nice templates, now has Squarespace Start, and it lets you make an instant one-page website on a mobile device. So you can instantly have this one-page device and you can purchase a domain name on the app, and you can use it to quickly announce something like an event, a project, or a business launch, and then it can be a holding page until you're ready for a more robust Squarespace website. And it's a free app, and it's in iOS and Android. And I thought that was pretty cool. So there's a little video that shows how it works. It's only 30 seconds long.
Very cool, very cool. Going on my self-driving car thing and the Internet of Things attack, I threw in this story because it ties in with both of them. This is from an Equipment World article by Chris Hill. The U.S. Department of Transportation's National Highway Safety, Traffic and Safety Administration has issued proposed guidance for improving motor vehicle cybersecurity as a means of protecting against malicious cyber attacks and unauthorized access. The NHTSA's document broadly covers product development for manufacturers, as well as best practices for researching, testing, and validating cybersecurity. So if a bunch of hackers can take advantage of unsecured Internet of Things devices to take down the internet, why can't they take down self-driving car as well?
Well, there's been a lot written about that. They can.
Yep. So that needs to be solved.
There's a lot of things that need to be solved. But in the face of all of that, Facebook continues its drive to be world dominating. And so now it's testing its Snapchat Stories clone in Australia. It's the second market they've tested in, according to Natasha Lomas in TechCrunch. And they expanded this test. It's called Messenger Day, and it lets people send illustrated filter-enhanced photos and videos to friends and then have them disappear in 24 hours like Snapchat. And they did it the first time in Poland, and it wasn't clear then if it was very serious, but now it looks like they've stepped it up. And, it's been in its first English-speaking market, but like anything else, there's no guarantee that it's going to get its full launch, but that's going to probably depend on, whether it's well received. But the concise assessment is that Facebook is now basically Snapchat.
Yeah, and by the way, nothing disappears. So when Snapchat was everybody was glomming onto Snapchat because it was ephemeral. No, in order for it to work, something needs to sit on a server somewhere, and if something's sitting on a server somewhere, it's not disappearing. It's going to stay there. So just
Scary
a word of warning. Yeah.
What goes online stays online. It's going to
exactly.
always be like that.
Yep.
So, of course, there is some election news. TrumpANovel was a trend on Twitter, and some of my favorites were 50 Shades of Bigotry, Lord of the Lies, Proud of Prejudice, To Kill a Mockingbird, David Copperfield,
Oh God.
Moby Dick Head, Crotchwork Orange, and there were many more.
Wow. Yeah, so book reports now are the actual books, right?
Right. Yeah.
So Google, if you haven't had, if your website isn't mobile friendly yet, damn it, it's time. You need to get it mobile friendly. Google is indexing mobile sites, mobile friendly sites first. This is according to a Media Post article by Laurie Sullivan. So Google has historically crawled and crawled websites across the web and then determined the relationship between the content and mobile devices before ranking pages based on the desktop version. Now, Google is going to index mobile content first and desktop content second. They're two different indexes, and mobile is the primary index for search. So if it weren't obvious yet, you must now have your website mobile friendly. Google also said it's going to add fact check tags to articles it indexes that point readers toward articles that validate or discredit claims. So if you're providing a citation or proof of what your claims are in an article, Google will add a fact check tag to that article, which is probably a ranking signal. Google already flags content with tags like in-depth, highly cited, local source, and opinion. So consider giving supporting evidence in your articles as a ranking symbol, as a ranking factor in search.
That's really interesting.
Yep.
That goes back to the original thing that they were doing with validating the authorship of things that they took away, and this seems very related to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Google is all about. I mean, they've indexed knowledge, and they have a database of facts that they can check against. So they want quality content, basically, and their algorithms are reflecting that.
Very interesting. So just one more little thing. The photographer who took the picture of Skittles that was used in the tweet about by Eric Trump about Syrian refugees is now he's suing them. He's saying that the British photographer and former child refugee David Kiddos filed a lawsuit against the Trump campaign for using the reprehensibly offensive photo, and he says in his lawsuit, the Skittles ad is reprehensibly offensive to plaintiff as he is a refugee of the Republic of Cyprus who was forced to flee his home at the age of 6. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, no transition there. LinkedIn updates and skills are getting up to LinkedIn is updating skills and endorsements. This is from a LinkedIn post by Yolanda Ye, I think is how you pronounce it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. The post cites people with at least 5 skills listed on their LinkedIn profile receive up to 17 times more profile views. Now, a lot of people dismiss endorsements as just a vanity metric, and it doesn't really, and they have tended to be fairly random sometimes and maybe not relevant to the person. But like LinkedIn has recognized that, and it's improving its with this update. So its algorithm, profile viewers will see endorsements made by mutual connections, by colleagues, and by people who are knowledgeable about the skill. So that actually is a signal that you know something, right? If you've got somebody who is an expert on public relations and you have and they're endorsing your skill as a public relations person, that means more than just a random person, right? LinkedIn's improving targeting to suggested endorsements to connections that know the skills and people who know your work best. So they leave a tip. They said, check your skills. They're listed in order of the strengths you want to highlight on your LinkedIn profile, and LinkedIn will do the rest by targeting suggestions for those top skills.
Can you move them around?
Yeah, sure. You can order them.
So the other thing that they did this week is they launched a beta of a new company page on LinkedIn, and it's a vast improvement. It's so much better looking, and you can see it now in beta, but you can't use it yet. But it's coming up, and I think that's really pretty cool.
Very cool. I saw that email, but I got trapped in my spam filter. We just switched over to new. It's pretty bad. Anyway, one last one for me. Amazon has been awarded a patent for, wait for it, personal drones. This is from a New Atlas article by Michael Irving. So they've been awarded a patent for tiny assistant drones, personal assistant drones. They can be carried around with a user. Just have it sit on your shoulder like a bird, and sent off with a voice command to perform autonomous functions like finding your car in a crowded parking lot. I remember a really bad date where I couldn't find my car for a concert in a crowded parking lot. I could have used a personal drone. Finding your lost kid. Emergency responders. You can imagine the applications they could use it for. And of course, surveillance.
Okay, I live in Manhattan. It's raining today. You are so lucky if you get down the street without having your eye put out by a freaking umbrella. That's because people carry the umbrella like right, over their head. And some people have umbrellas that are 4 feet wide. And you're lucky you don't get your eye put out. Can you imagine drones flying around in Manhattan? Give me a break.
Well, they could hold your umbrella.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That's a bad idea for a city. Does that bring us to shiny objects?
It does indeed. What do you got?
I got a great one. I saw this article in Adweek by my friend Angela Natividad, and WD-40, which is used, as everybody probably knows, to get rid of squeaks and noises and things that stick. They have a haunted doors Halloween app, and so you get to choose The Exorcist, Door of the Dead, or Paranormal Activity sound creaking to freak out trick-or-treaters. And you put the phone in a bag and you hang it inside the door handle. You set it when the doorbell rings. When you open the door, it makes the sound. And the tagline is, every other night there's WD-40. But there's a hilarious video where they're doing this to trick-or-treaters, and then they're like, ah! It's really scary.
That's so clever. That's very good.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's another app that was out. I think we probably talked about it last Halloween, but the Walking Dead app, Dead Yourself, and so you can take a selfie of yourself and turn yourself into a zombie. So,
something I've always wanted to do.
So Facebook, in their never-ending quest to world domination, has added a feature to Facebook Instant Articles. They're adding support for 360 videos and 360 photos. So each instant article can contain multiple 360 photos and videos that readers can explore, share, comment on within the context of the story. Readers will see a 360 content in line, so you don't have to click outside of it to see it. You have the option of navigating by turning your device or by tapping and dragging. So new feature, if you're using Instant Articles to publish your content, 360 content.
Nice. That's nice. I like that.
Another short one from Facebook. You can order food from Facebook now. Users in the United States are now able to order food through Facebook pages of restaurants. You'll also be able to get quotes from businesses, buy movie tickets, book appointments at spas and salons. So it looks like Facebook is ramping up its social commerce capabilities, which social channels haven't really ever been able to pull off yet. So let's see how that plays out.
Well, I was reading this article today, like nobody wants to be called a social channel anymore. All of a sudden it's antisocial because, Facebook is now, there's nothing they don't do. I mean, Amazon doesn't call itself a social channel, but you can do and buy everything there. So all of a sudden nobody wants to be called social because we've all moved past what that was originally. It's kind of interesting, but I do not need to order food from Facebook. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know that I can, because there are pretty much not many places nearby in Chaska here in Minnesota that I can order food from.
See, that's the thing about New York. 3 o'clock in the morning, you're hungry, you call up, you order food, it comes.
Yep.
So you have one more now?
About the city. One more. Vimeo, that artsy fartsy YouTube, Vimeo, has added some new features that are pretty cool. They've revamped their profile pages And so they've redesigned the profile pages, give you more control over how it looks and how you can showcase your videos online. They're cleaner, they're less cluttered, layout, the cover, and they have cover videos. So you can, rather than having a cover photo on your profile, you can choose a video or a clip to loop silently at the top of your profile page, which is pretty cool. And now you can choose up to 10 videos to feature on the front of your page. You can pick the order in which they appear, and Vimeo promises more profile customization tools in the coming weeks. So look for that. And
That's very
you've got a
cool.
project.
Well, yeah, it's kind of an odd thing because I don't consider myself a tech blogger, but I do blog about technology from time to time. And so What's Next blog was named a top tech blog for the second time by Broadview Networks. And apparently there were more than 300 nominees, and I was a top 10 one. So that's kind of cool.
Wow, very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
it's nice.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how people take. There's a lot of things that fall under tech in people's definitions, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do write about technologies, but not from a technical standpoint. It's always from a marketing view. But nonetheless, it's always nice to be on a list where there's, really talented people who are there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So daily numbers, let's wrap this up. And this is our podcast before Halloween. So let's consider it our Halloween podcast. And why not wrap it up with some Halloween stats? This is a Halloween candy consumption stats. How much? Well, first of all, 158 million Americans participate in Halloween.
I do.
Yes, and me
I
too.
dress up.
I already have. $6.9 billion will be spent on Halloween this year. 2.6 billion on costumes, 2.08 billion on candy. Of the 158 million Americans who participate in Hollywood, 5% will not buy candy. No candy! What? Killjoys. Americans purchase nearly 600 million pounds of candy each year for Halloween. The average American consumes 3.4 pounds of candy over Halloween. Oh my God, that's a lot. That's heavier.
Guilty as charged.
That's heavier than Miley Cyrus's brain.
I'm sure there's a scientific study of that.
Yeah. What's the cheapest popular candy to buy? Your favorite? Skittles.
It's also horrible.
Snickers, M&Ms, Hershey's are also popular and cheap. And where should you buy it? The top retailer is Walmart. So there you go. Stats for Halloween to fill you up.
What's your costume, Dave?
I went as land shark for our company Halloween festivities.
I'm going to be a roll of lifesavers. I have that costume.
Nice. You remember Land Shark from Saturday
Night Live, right? Land Shark. That was Gilda Radner was still on it then.
Yeah, right.
I have to say that the openings of Saturday Night Live have been very funny, but the rest of it still is not, sadly. But Alec Baldwin, oh my God, he's great. Who would have thunk it? So that brings us to the end of episode 163 of the Beyond Social Media show. And you can find David Erickson on Twitter as @DErickson. He blogs at estrategyblog.com and creativepr.com/blog. They're both terrific. You should subscribe to and read both of them every single week. I am at What's Next on Twitter. I blog at What's Next blog and Paw Fun blog. And I run maximum-plus.com for streaming video and video interviews, social video. And the show is at beyondsocialmediashow.com. On Twitter, we're at BS Media Show. And we will be back next week, same time, same station, with the best and the worst in digital for next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.